We are live.
You took it off my face, right as my face was coming into screen. Thank you for that.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sure
Sorry.
the fans appreciate that. Hi, everybody. Yes,
What's up? If you're out there, use the Google chat to tell us that you're out there.
I told Sean that I was creating. He said I didn't want to notice when we were starting the broadcast because he's always doing something and then he has to stop what he's doing and come. So I told him when I
Wow.
created the Hangout so that he could come and watch, but I don't see any viewers yet.
And when you say
But
Sean, you mean your boss, not other co-host Sean, who is no longer
yes,
here.
Sean, who we have not seen in forever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Anyway. Uh, 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 uh. Need that.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Mail.
Oh
That.
fuck yeah. Sorry,
That's
I've been outside. It's been a hot day. I needed a beverage, and it was very refreshing.
It's been a hot one,
It's been a hot one.
like 7 inches from the midday sun.
Oh, you've got that kind of lovin' that can be so. What's the word I'm looking for?
Creamy.
I think yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yep.
Oh, that took a turn. All right. Hi, Moose. I'm very backlit today. That's all right. Nobody wants to see this face, anyways. Nobody cares about me. You're just here for the raccoon.
Of course, of course.
All right. Shall we
We were
begin?
at Money in the Bank, people. For those of you who are watching this
We were
now,
at Money in the Bank.
we were
For
at
those of
fucking
you,
Money in the Bank, and there's
we'll,
proof on Facebook.
we'll talk about it on the show. Let's start the
Of
show.
course, of
Okay.
course.
So let me get my fake sponsor ready here. All right.
What? Fake?
Surprise, the sponsors aren't real.
Whoa, hey.
All right. Episode 158
Mm.
in 3, 2, 1, record. This week's episode of The Rundown is brought to you by Triple H's Plan B. Regret that one-night stand? Worry your hookup might cause some drama? Just call Triple H's Plan B. Seth Rollins will appear and smash your last fling in the back with a chair, ensuring that your little swimmers don't make their intended target. Triple H's Plan B. Also available in Kane. So 2 weeks ago, we had CM Punk getting married to AJ. And last week, Caitlyn got married to some other bodybuilder. And this week, Seth Rollins got engaged to his longtime girlfriend. And Bo Dallas got married. Can you feel the love
I can.
tonight?
So, now, Seth Rollins' girlfriend, does Andy know her as well?
I don't know. We can ask him next week.
I would assume he does. And Bo Dallas getting engaged.
Bo Dallas actually got married.
Got married.
Seth got
Sorry,
engaged. Bo Dallas got married.
man. I can only imagine what that proposal was like. He's very inspirational. It's hard to turn him down.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
Let's
buddy,
get-
you want to get married?
Let's get to the rundown.
Yeah.
With more Mick Foley mentions than any WWE broadcast. It's episode 158 of The Rundown. My name is Adam. I'm your host, and it is Tuesday, July the 1st, 2014. Joining me this week, we snuck him into Money in the Bank in Sean's girlfriend's purse. Raccoon Reigns is here.
Pleasure to be here as always. And you know, as we have discussed on this show, Michael Cole calls Ryback big guy, which he stole from Josh. And
Yeah.
that's this past week, JBL referred to the Dust Brothers as the Dust Busters, which I said on this show last week. So I'm saying it right now. Michael Cole or JBL next week on Raw, just for our benefit, at some point in the broadcast to prove that you listen, say the word raccoon. We'll listen for it. Just sneak it in there somehow. It's a 3-hour broadcast. You can sneak it in. Just it'll be your message to us, and we'll
I
know for sure that you're listeners.
I would die, I
We
think, if that
I think so.
actually happened.
I think it could definitely happen.
Yes, indeed.
Yep, and it can be the stinger at the end of the show as well.
That's right. I will totally add that to the thing. Can we start immediately over here on the comments, because
Sure.
for the first time ever, all the way from England,
Whoa.
our official listener is here.
Oh, hey.
Glenn Morton says, last week you came up with a story where AJ loses her baby, and you didn't have Barrett be the one to break the bad news to her.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? I blame you for that.
That's a good point. Well, that that may have actually ended up happening on Raw. It may or may not have.
We'll get to that.
But stay tuned. Stay
But
tuned.
first,
It's good to see that the Viper Grundy Morton is here tonight.
that's very true. We are up to 429 followers on Facebook.
All
That's
right.
up 3. We gained 13 followers on Twitter this week.
Probably from the Money in the Bank coverage.
We are up to 95 followers on Twitter. Plus, Money in the Bank coverage, plus the fact that now when I live tweet Raw or a pay-per-view, anybody who favorites or replies or likes any of the tweets, I follow them immediately. So that helps too. So.
Hey, whatever works. Whatever works. Got to get those numbers up there.
The 100th follower on Twitter gets a copy of a chat book. I'm still not exactly sure how we're going to figure that out, but Andy promised a copy of the chat book to the 100th listener, 100th follower on Twitter.
Mathematics.
Yes, something like that. Shall we rewind?
I think we should. Where are we starting this week?
We start with NXT as always.
Oh, yes, of course.
We open NXT with the Vaudevillains this week. They are up against T. Perkins and Matt Sugarman.
He has no first name. He's just like T-Pain.
Apparently not.
All right.
The Vaudevillains tag team finish is called That's a Wrap.
Oh, God. I haven't seen this tag team at all, but I think they're already my favorite team just from what you've explained to me on this show.
You have the network. You can watch NXT.
That is true.
And yet you choose not to.
Yeah.
Anyway, Finley roll from Simon Gotch, followed by a Swanton bomb from Aiden English. That's a wrap. We go back to last week for Tyson Kidd being a dick to Sami Zayn backstage. Last week, Sami is very upset about this.
Aww.
Enter Xavier Woods when he returns. He appears to still be a face on NXT. CJ Parker has a sign. Nobody cares. Xavier's opponent tonight is Bull Dempsey. This is Bull's debut. Alex Riley pumps Bull up by calling him the last of a dying breed and an old school brawler.
Isn't that what they were talking about during that Triple H Undertaker match at WrestleMania a few years ago? It's the end of an era. We're the last of a dying breed.
Yeah. Not a bad debut. Still have to see what his character is. His finisher, the Bulldozer, is basically a side Michinoku driver.
Why not have him use the Bullhammer elbow since no one's using it now?
Shut up.
Yeah.
We'll get to that fucking Jack Swagger, you son of a bitch. Bull has a microphone. Tonight we've all witnessed the beginning of an era of devastation.
Ooh.
We return for the entrance of Summer Rae, accompanied by Sasha and Charlotte. Her opponent tonight is Becky Lynch. She's from Dublin, you see, so she Irish step dances down the ramp and into the ring. Stop that immediately.
For some reason, Becky Lynch, she doesn't sound like she would have an Irish gimmick. She sounds like she should be like a real estate agent or something.
Yeah. Renee says that Becky was taught to dance by Colin Farrell's brother back in Ireland. Apparently, Colin Farrell's brother only knows one move. T-Bone suplex finishes off Summer. The BFFs don't seem to really care.
Do you remember when Wade Barrett was feuding with Colin Farrell when Dead Man Down came out?
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Well, agree to disagree, but okay.
Glenn says it's almost 1 a.m. here, and I have work tomorrow morning, so I'll bid you gents good night and leave you this one question: Wilma or Betty?
I go Wilma all the way on that one. That's not even a contest.
Betty.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess I like the redheads.
I guess so. We have another
comment.
This is from Troy Bozen, who I've never seen before. So
Love it.
Wouldn't Ross and Marshall von Erich be the last of a dying breed? Troy, I think you'll fit in here well.
I think so too. I think so too. Ratcheting up the tastelessness, you'll fit right in.
Indubitably. Enter Colin Cassidy when we come back. He's facing Sawyer Fulton. That match lasted maybe a minute, maybe. La Resistance 2014 appear to ruin the party. Enzo Amore then makes his big return to act as backup for Colin. At
Oh
least I
no.
assume it's a big return because Renee says something about a motorized wheelchair. Enzo and
Is
Colin.
Enzo Amore like an offensive Italian stereotype, basically? Sounds
No,
like it.
he's apparently insane based on
Oh,
what I
all right.
saw on Tuesday.
Okay.
Enzo and Colin apparently have a history together. I should have probably Wikipedia'd that. When we come back, Tyler Breeze is on commentary for the main event. He and Renee spend most of the match sniping at each other. Enter Adrian Neville. As promised, he is facing Rob Van Dam this evening. Adrian avoids a frog star and hits the red arrow to beat Rob Van Dam. After the match, there's quite a bit of mutual respect.
Excellent. RVD on NXT
Yes.
Thursday.
On to SmackDown. We open SmackDown with a look back at Daniel's neck injury and the subsequent build to the ladder match on Sunday. In the arena, Lillian
Speaking of
introduces
injuries.
Seth, Randy, and Hunter. Cole calls Seth and Randy Hunter's cohorts. Hunter welcomes us to the program. He says lots of people refer to this business as having, eras. He said he's heard they're currently in the reality era. Because, he's the one who said that on Raw months and months ago. Anyway, he says instead, we're in the authority era.
I like that better than reality era because you can't say reality on a professional wrestling show and be taken seriously. I'm sorry. You just can't.
He basically promises that Randy will win the titles and Seth will win the briefcase. Then he actually promises that. Randy then drones on about stuff, and Seth guarantees his own victory. Then he and Randy start bickering. Hunter steps in to say that they need to trust each other, adapt or perish, etc. Hunter then moves on to talk about Dean Ambrose. He says, wherever you see Seth, you see Dean, and we will see Dean against Wade Barrett again after the break. We come back to the promise of Daniel Bryan on the kickoff show. We then go back to Tuesday for the six-man tag team match. Enter Dean Ambrose during Dean's entrance. We go back to Monday for Dean attacking Seth. Dean dominates the start of the match, but Wade makes a comeback just before the commercial break. A Dirty Deeds shortly after we return, and Ambrose pins the Intercontinental Champion. Enter Jax.
Did Wade pull double duty that night? What happened?
What do you mean?
I thought Barrett fought Swagger, which is how he got fucked up.
Nope. Enter Swagger to injure yet another superstar.
Okay. There we go.
Swagger throws Barrett into the corners of the barricades at the end of the entranceway. Where there's no give. And the second shot is the one that injures Barrett. I don't know if it was planned or not, but Ambrose suicide dives onto Swagger to prevent the Patriot lock on Wade after he was injured, and Ambrose and Swagger brawl for a while. Seth eventually sneaks up on Ambrose to throw him into the stairs. He throws Dean into the ring, yells at him a little bit, then hits a Seth penalty. Then he yells at him some more. Later tonight, Roman takes on Kane. Also tonight, a recap from Raw.
But of course.
We come back for the Dunkafactals and the promise of Total Divas Season 1 on the WWE Network. Can't help but notice that JoJo isn't in that promo picture.
Are they just going to edit her out of the show entirely?
Apparently.
They can like superimpose Summer Rae's face over her.
Or maybe Rosa Mendez.
Yeah, of course.
Where was I? Cameron takes on Paige again. Paige wins. Nobody cares. After the match, Cameron causes trouble. Sheep cut. Luke likes shiny things. Time is running out for the Usos. Then Bray appears to promise victory. Sheamus versus Wyatt. Next. Enter Sheamus when we return. Pittsburgh. We're here. Bray on the offensive thanks to his compatriots when we go to break. Usos at ringside when we return. Sheamus eventually locks in the cloverleaf, and it all goes to hell. If only Teddy were here. Reigns, Canes, tonight. Up next, RVD and Ziggler versus Cesaro and Del Rio, because those are teams. When we come back, Byron is with Goldust. Byron's wearing a gold tie. I smell collusion.
Hmm.
Goldust talks briefly, Stardust appears, and he cuts a weird promo. They accept the challenge from Rybaxel, basically.
Oh,
Back
good.
to ringside, everyone in the ring. Heyman on commentary, heels in control as we go to break. Del Rio counters the Frog Star with his knees, then rolls it into the armbreaker for the tap out victory. Heels argue over who won the match, so Cesaro gives a neutralizer to Alberto. Cesaro's theme song plays. Backstage, Renee is with the Usos. Their promos are hectic and random and don't move me all that much.
Is that because John Cena is helping them with their promos now?
Apparently it is. I did not know that when I wrote that, but I know that now, and it doesn't
There,
surprise me.
there you go.
We come back for Lana, Rusev, and Cheap Heat. Rusev destroys Sin Cara again. Big E appears and preaches some more. Big E challenges. Rusev backs down to start. He tries to ambush, but Big E is ready for it. Cole then sends us back to Raw for Vicky's big send-off. Canes and Reigns
Yeah.
next. We come back for the official announcement of Big E versus Rusev and Layla versus Summer Rae with Fandango as the special referee.
Yeah, we did get to see that live, and
Yes.
we will tell our grandchildren about it.
Yes. Yeah. During Kane's entrance, we go back to Raw for Hunter making us sit through a stretcher match for no goddamn reason. Very nice work by the crane cam operator during Roman's entrance to get a shot of him entering through the crowd behind the titles that were hanging from the rafters. Orton appears, and the match ends in chaos once again. Orton gets Kane disqualified. Reigns then gets chokeslam. Kane goes for a ladder from the aisle. Kane sets the ladder up for Orton. Orton climbs the ladder. Orton unhooks the gold, and sadly, Kane does not tip the ladder over and send him careening to the floor. Kane signals for another chokeslam, but Randy stops him. He tosses the belts to the side and tries to punt Roman instead, but Roman recovers and spears the both of them. Roman holds the belts up high as we go off the air.
Ah, wouldn't that have been nice?
Wouldn't it have?
Mm-hmm.
Which brings us to Money in the Bank.
Hey, all right. Yes, that's right. So we are live from Boston, Massachusetts for a pay-per-view which was attended by Adam and myself, Raccoon Reigns. Check the Rundown Facebook page for proof. My human girlfriend also attended, which must have been awkward for the fans around us who aren't cool with bestiality. Deal with it, you prudes! So we began with the kickoff show, where Michael Cole interviewed Daniel Bryan. Daniel said the feeling has not yet returned to his arm, so he may be out even longer than expected. That is, of course, unless he undergoes some sort of radical procedure on a visit to the island of Dr. Maroon. Daniel was soon interrupted by none other than Bo Dallas, who tells Daniel he may not be able to climb a literal ladder tonight, but he can still climb the ladder of life if he just believes.
Made
Daniel
me
says
so
that
fucking
Bo...
happy.
Yeah.
You missed the best pun that there was, though.
Oh, no, I'm getting to it.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
I assume this is the pun you're talking about, where Daniel says that Bo is being a boner because that's good, family-friendly entertainment,
That's not.
and he
That's.
tells Bo to leave the ring, so Bo obliges. Oh, what were you saying was the pun?
Hey, what is it?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Hey, buddy. Something, something. That must be a real pain in the neck.
yeah, that's what I figured you meant. Yep,
I fucking
love
love.
it.
Can speaking of Bo Dallas, I have to. I did get this shirt at Monkey in the Bank. So there's this one.
Yep. For
Uh,
those of you listeners who aren't watching live, he is holding up a King of Swing T-shirt.
I'm not holding it up. I'm actually wearing it. But anyway,
Oh, yeah, well, that, yeah.
they did not have any NXT shirts for sale, so I was unable to get my Bo Leave T-shirt, and I was
Oh.
very sad about that.
I wouldn't put that's an NXT shirt. That's not a main WWE roster shirt now.
Still, I think they just re-released it with something different on the back, and now it's a WWE shirt. But I think it was originally an NXT shirt.
Huh. Well, there you go. But so my question to you is, will this be Daniel Bryan's first feud when he is able to return to the ring, or was this just a bonus appearance for the Boston crowd?
Boston does not work. There is a banana on my head. I would not mind Daniel Bryan versus Bo Dallas when Daniel Bryan comes back, but I would hope that would not be indicative of a deep push of Bryan and not including him in anything involving the title when he comes back.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, Cena could be involved in a feud with Rollins at that point, and maybe they give Daniel something else to do. I don't know. I think it was probably just a one-off as well. But the fact that they re-showed it the next night on Raw, and Bo Dallas has been talking about Daniel Bryan, we'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
But anyway,
I was surprised that they allowed them that not only did they allow Daniel Bryan to say boner, that they then replayed it during
they
Money in the
did.
Bank and again on Raw.
They did. Boner is completely PG. You can say it, but if you show it, that's a no-no. No,
That's
can't
trouble.
do that.
That's
Yeah,
trouble.
that's trouble. So anyhow, this pay-per special event officially began with the WWE Tag Team Championship match. Champions the Usos versus the Wyatt family. And apparently the WWE has given up on that creepy sounding Whole World in His Hands theme song after one whole appearance. And I can't say I blame them. A rare misfire by Jim Johnston, who, as you know, has appeared on this very podcast.
Yes.
As for the match itself, went over really well with the live crowd. Lots of near falls, which fooled us on several occasions. The finish came when the Usos combined a superplex Rowan off the top rope, with each of them hitting him with consecutive superfly splashes for the pinfall. And right off the bat, my prediction of every member of the Wyatt family leaving the arena with a belt went down the toilet faster than one of the Big Show's BMs at an Indian restaurant. Your thoughts on this match? Are
One
you
of them
okay with the...
later.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I would say good, but that would be a lie. Um, so, are you okay with the USO tour continuing to roll on?
You know, I was a little disappointed in the outcome because I really did want the Wyatts to leave with the tag team titles, but the match itself was really good,
Yeah,
and it was a really good opener too. It's a fantastic way to start the show. So, you know
yeah,
what, I'm okay with it. I think the Wyatts will get their chance soon enough and actually take the titles. So.
I think so too. But yeah, that's a tough act to follow. That was a tough opener. But next up, the match which did follow it, Divas title match, Champion Paige versus Naomi. Now, aside from one botch where both Divas fell off the turnbuckle during a superplex spot, this was a really solid match. I know that's kind of like saying, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? But I stand by the fact this was a good match. Paige and Naomi both looked strong, and Paige ended up retaining her title when she murdered Naomi with some sort of elevated DDT for the 3 count. It will please the world to know that despite the increased tension between the two of them, the Funkadactyls are indeed still together, at least for one more night. Here's hoping they can patch up their
Yeah.
differences and continue to rub their dumpers together. Your thoughts on this match?
Uh, I really hope that I guess you could call it a package DDT. I guess. I really hope that replaces the page turner as a finisher
Yeah, but I
because
like the
well,
submission she does.
yeah, the PTO is great too, but I'm saying the page turner itself, it may have worked on NXT, but on the main roster, it's just not impactful enough to be a finishing move.
Yeah,
So I'm glad to see a new move in the arsenal of Paige.
yeah. I could be wrong, but I don't think we've seen the page turner since she botched it that first time when
I
she
think she
won the
did it, and I
title off
think she's done
AJ.
it like one or two other times, but that's it.
Okay.
Um, we'll get to what happened on Raw,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, for what it was, not a bad match. I'm surprised. I was surprised that Cameron didn't get involved in the match itself. That they
Yeah, I was
waited
surprised about
until
that
at
too.
the end because I figured there was going to be some kind of malarkey where Cameron cost Naomi the victory somehow. But
Yep.
they didn't do that. They waited until after the match to have them be bitches at each other's more. So
After you mean the next night on Raw?
that too. But
Yeah.
then didn't Cameron spend most of the match looking bored at ringside?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, she kind of did.
yeah.
Bitch. Anyway, your next match was Adam Rose versus Paul Revere. Yes, that's right. This time out, Damian Sandow was dressed as Paul Revere because the WWE has apparently said, you know, Sandow is an intellectual who refuses to lower himself to the fans, so let's just make him do the opposite of that. And as for Paul Revere, his character was historically accurate tonight, except for the fact that I believe Revere would have hit that moonsault instead of missing it, but no, it's perfect. Rose then picked up the victory when he hit Revere with the party foul, a move that looks suspiciously like Dean Ambrose's Dirty Deeds finisher. Hey, wait a minute. You literally cannot spell Dean Ambrose without Adam Rose. Holy fuck, they're the same person. Mind blown. Your thoughts on Adam Rose and Paul Revere? Or Damian Sandow?
Uh, I I have to give Sandow credit. Well, more credit on Raw because we'll talk about what he did on Raw in just a minute. But for what it was, coming out as Paul Revere and saying that if he had known what Boston would become, he wouldn't have warned anyone.
Yep.
And then my favorite thing that he did, which was completely subtle and completely amazing because no microphone picked it up, I don't think, was before the Kobito Akiet yelling, "The elbow is coming! The
Yes.
elbow is coming!" was
Yes.
kind of fucking genius.
Very nice touch.
Also,
Hmm.
I knew that hot dog. So there's that.
Oh, you knew the guy who played the hot dog.
I knew the hot dog.
Was he in NWA Liberty States?
He's been in Liberty States a couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
His name is Mark Sherman, and he's a very good wrestler.
Scott County Wrestling presents Indemented's Day this Friday.
No, that's something else.
Right, sorry.
But no, I would not be surprised to see Sherman in developmental at some point. But anyway, that's
Very nice.
Anyway.
And but as the hot dog, he can't be himself. He has to be the hot dog from now on.
He actually, and we'll talk. He actually reappears later, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you're name dropping wrestlers left and right. You're like Andy. You're picking up the slack for Andy in this episode. Yeah.
Exactly. Did I mention that I know the hot dog? I know the hot dog. Did I mention that I know the hot dog?
Whoa! Can I get the hot dog's autograph? Have him squirt mustard on a napkin and sign his name.
That sounds dirty.
Mm.
Let's continue.
Anyway, so next up was the Money in the Bank contract match: Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins versus Rob Van Dam versus Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston versus Jack Swagger, but without Bad News Barrett, who keeps faking injuries to avoid having to wrestle in these ladder matches. For my Money in the Bank, this was easily the better of the two ladder matches tonight, and it certainly came across well with the live crowd. I thought the spots flowed really well together, and unlike the main event, there were very few slow ladder climbs and grabbing the object but not quite spots, which was good. Glad they didn't have a lot of those. Some of the noteworthy moments from the match include Kofi Kingston doing one of his patented wacky spots, except this time it was actually awesome. While he was on the ladder, Dean Ambrose pushed it over, but instead of Kofi just falling to the floor, he springboarded himself off the top rope and onto three of the other wrestlers. It was easily his second best wacky spot ever after Pogo Chair.
Shut up.
Yeah, Pogo Chairs. Another noteworthy spot was Ambrose superplexing Rollins off the top of a tall ladder, which, surprisingly, was only the second most brutal bump that Seth took in this match.
Yep.
Yeah, more on that in a moment. Another noteworthy part. During the match, medics checked on Ambrose and told him he had to leave the match and head backstage, much to his chagrin. Presumably, this was part of Triple H's plan to get Ambrose out of the match, although he probably should have put that plan in action before Dean fucked up Rollins with that superplex, but hey, whatever.
I'm not honestly sure that was planned.
The having Ambrose go backstage?
Taking Dean out, yeah. I don't think that was actually supposed to be the plan B. I think Kane was the plan B at the end. Spoiler alert.
Interesting.
And that's why he suddenly had to run out right at the right time so that he could climb up and Kane could come out to keep him from climbing up.
It would help more if we were actually watching live on the network, because you'd hear the announcers play it up like, oh, this must be part of Triple H's plan. I don't know if they did that or not, because then we would know that it was legit probably. But
I haven't gotten to watch the replay yet.
I haven't either, but I will not mind watching it because I actually thought it was a good match and a good pay-per-view.
And as is tradition, I will be buying it on DVD when it comes out.
Excellent. Not Blu-ray?
They don't release the regular DVDs on Blu-ray here. They do in Europe, fucking Europe, but not here for some reason.
Well, we have a comment on the side, it looks like.
We have a comment on the side, but it's not time for that yet because we haven't gotten to the main event yet.
Okay, all right. So continuing on, speaking of Seth, he was the winner of the award for coolest and most painful-looking spot of the night. While Rollins and RVD were climbing a ladder, Kofi emerged from the floor and jammed a ladder between the rungs of their ladder and the middle rope. Kofi then knocked RVD off the ladder and backdropped Rollins from that ladder onto the other one. 10 years from now...
Was it the middle rope or the top rope?
Maybe the top rope, yeah. But either way. So basically, 10 years from now, when you watch the Seth Rollins career retrospective Blu-ray, which will, of course, be called He's Just a Sethy Boy, they'll show that spot with Rollins doing the voiceover and saying, I'm pretty sure that was where my back problems began.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool
for those of you who didn't get to watch, for those of you who didn't get to watch the pay-per-view, he got backdropped onto the ladder that was between the ladder and the ropes. He hit the ladder bounced as it was on the rope, came out of the standing ladder and fell to the canvas, which meant Seth went with it and bounced off it again, and then I think hit the back of his head on the standing ladder.
Oh God. Yeah, that was a pretty impressive looking spot.
Yeah.
I've watched a GIF of it or a GIF of it, however you say that, many many
Doesn't matter.
times, and it's very
Yeah.
entertaining.
It was pretty
Um,
fantastic.
yes. So later in the match, Ambrose reemerged from backstage and ended up clearing the ring. He had a clear path to the briefcase, but then Kane erupted. Ambrose then fell victim to WWE logic because instead of just grabbing the case before Kane could get to the ring, he stalled on the ladder, which gave Kane enough time to get to the ring, chokeslam him, and then hit him with a tombstone pile driver, thereby preventing the Devil's favorite Dean win. The match
That's
then
why.
ended shortly. Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
That's
Go
why
ahead.
I'm wondering if the whole medics thing was legit or not, because you say WWE logic. If you watch the replay on Raw, or when they are on the actual pay-per-view on the network, he was climbing that ladder with one arm, and so him kind of reaching and flailing for the briefcase with one arm was because the other arm was apparently not operational.
Hmm. Interesting.
So there's that.
Interesting. Well, I assumed it was part of the plan, but maybe not. If we hear
Maybe.
about Ambrose having a fucked up arm, I guess we'll know. So then the match then ended shortly thereafter with Kane holding the ladder for Rollins as Seth climbed to the top and grabbed the briefcase. Triple H and Stephanie then emerged from backstage to congratulate Rollins, which I missed because I tried to weasel in a quick pee break. But there you have it,
Yes.
folks. Seth Rollins is
Yes,
your
you missed.
2014. Nope,
You
sorry.
missed you missed Seth skipping to the back singing, "I've got a golden briefcase."
Did he actually do that? Because that'd be awesome.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Well, he did call it the golden ticket the next night on Raw. So.
Yeah.
So there you have it, Seth Rollins, your 2014 Money in the Bank winner, which raises the
Indeed.
following question. Is it possible to do a surprise cash-in on your opponent when you have to sneak up on that person in a wheelchair? I mean, seriously, he took some pretty brutal bumps. That was pretty impressive. Your thoughts on Seth Rollins winning the briefcase?
I'm for it. As we mentioned last week in the predictions, both you and I said if Wade's not in the match, then we're giving it to Rollins. And Wade
Yeah.
was not in the match, and Rollins won.
Yeah,
So,
because none of those other competitors were legitimate guys who you would thought, oh yeah, this guy will definitely win the briefcase. It's
well,
like
maybe Ambrose, but
oh yeah, maybe Ambrose. Yeah, yeah. And even they actually did fool me a bit with Kofi almost getting it. I was like,
yeah, yeah,
maybe after all these years he finally gets his shot. But other
yes.
than that, of course, even thinking that Rollins was going to win, it still didn't ruin it for me because it was a good match. And
It was a fantastic match.
even with the stupid booking at the end with Kane coming out and blah blah blah, it was still very entertaining. And yeah, I'm a-okay with Rollins cashing in, and hopefully he actually does win when he cashes in, unlike the aforementioned Damian Sandow, whose career has gone on a precipitous downward spiral since he attempted to cash in. We'll just leave it at that, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yes, I am in favor of Rollins winning.
Mm-hmm.
But who will he cash it in on? Who won the championship match? Stay tuned. Next up, for the next 3 segments, it's time for everyone's favorite Michael Jackson album, Filler, because we segue to Rybe Asshole versus the Dustus League. Now, Cody Rhodes as Stardust. The beginning of a new gimmick, the end of a career, or both. Stay tuned.
My wife's
Uh,
thought was that Goldust is gold, Stardust should be silver.
yeah, I agree with that. But
Anyway.
it might not be as pronounced on his face as the gold paint. I don't know.
Hmm.
But anyway, so as you might expect, all we are is dust in the win column as Axel charged at Cody, but he moved, and Axel collided with Roydback, so Cody just rolled up Axel for the 3 count. Prediction: by this time next year, you will never remember the name of Stardust. Your thoughts on the new Dust Brothers, the Dust Busters tag team, as JBL copied from me,
Yes.
going over Rybe Asshole?
Expected.
Indeed.
I'm glad that I got a chance to see Stardust in person before that fizzles and dies.
Before it fizzles out like a shooting star? Was that the Owen Hart sound effect?
No, that's Owen.
Oh, wait, right.
Um,
Oh, God.
but no, it was a perfectly passable match. Sadly, I was not able to get the free Wi-Fi off the back of Curtis Axel's singlet, but
Yes, yeah.
maybe someone else was.
Yeah.
No. Curtis Axel debuted a new singlet that I think was supposed to be in the style of his father's. On the back was an axe, but from where from where we were sitting and the way the light was reflecting off of it, it really just looked like a free Wi-Fi beacon with the
Yeah, it
antenna.
looked exactly like the Wi-Fi signal
Yeah.
from where we were.
So
I was saying he should just come out in like just a plain yellow singlet like his father used to do.
hmm
Well, what would be wrong with that? I
but
think
then
that would be okay.
but then on Raw he was back to his normal trunks. So whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe because everybody got to him on Twitter and was like, free Wi-Fi, bitch!" And he's like, "Okay, fine. I give up."
No, it's an axe. Come on.
Yeah. Great. So next up, we had Langston versus Alexander. Pardon me, Big E versus Rusev. The match was never really in doubt.
Black Saw Jim Duggan.
Sorry, right. He is very patriotic. He's Black Saw Jim Duggan. The match was never really in doubt for us fans in the live audience because before the match, they lowered the banner that was holding the Russian flag, so it was pretty safe to assume they were going to unfurl that after the match. As it turns out,
could have been there just in case.
Yeah, as a backup plan. Yeah.
He still could have looked. Sorry.
Yeah. But yes, as it turns out, Rusev did indeed continue to prove that Russia is the best country on earth as he beat yet another weak, inferior American, this time getting Big E to tap out to the accolade. I have nothing else to add, so I will just point out that Rusev and Lana are actually dating in real life, so I am just picturing her commanding him, "Rusev! Jizz!" It's likely. It's likely. It's very likely. Your thoughts on Rusev defeating a Big E?
Shocking, really.
It was.
Not shocking at all.
No, yeah.
Yeah, more on Rusev when we get to Raw.
Oh, goody. Yeah, that was an interesting result on Raw, but okay. So, next up we had the match you alluded to earlier, Summer Rae versus Layla, with Fandango as the guest referee. As it turns out, the competitor who the fans were rooting for the most during this match was CM Punk, because there really was no need for this to happen. But fans of that catty little twat Layla will be happy to know she picked up the victory after hitting Summer with a super kick. And after the match, she made out with Fandango, so that makes it official. When choosing a sex partner, accents always win. Your thoughts on this match?
Finally got to Fandango in a WWE event.
There you go. That's
Bucket
right.
list crossed
Twice, actually, because they played Fandango's theme twice.
Yes. They played 2 songs for Layla,
Yes.
neither of which was her current theme song.
She went back to the old Michelle McCool song.
When she came out, they played Fandango's theme. And then when she won, they played Michelle McCool's theme song.
Yeah.
And she's currently using Tiffany's old theme song. So neither one of those was Layla's theme song.
She's like Mankind when he debuted in the WWF. He got an intro song and an outro song.
Right, yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
because when you think Layla, the first thing that pops to mind is Mankind.
Of course. She's brought a great deal of pleasure to a good portion of mankind, so I will think that will.
Also, the bedazzled referee shirt. Nice touch.
That was a nice touch. That was the only nice touch of this match. Actually, Summer squirting some real tears was interesting to see.
Yes.
Acting.
Ricardo says boner apparently also means a foolish and obvious blunder, a stupid mistake.
That is true.
So maybe Daniel Bryan wasn't talking about a penis.
Ah, good point. Bo, you're acting like a real mistake. Yeah. Sure.
Should ask IRS about that.
Indeed. And now, 'tis time for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship ladder match. Roman Reigns versus John Cena versus Cesaro versus Bray Wyatt versus Sheamus versus Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio versus Kane. Now, for a match that had 8 people in it, there certainly were quite a few moments when no one was in the ring trying to climb the ladder. Strange. I wonder about that. It was very strange.
I know how disappointed you were that your brother came down. What was
My
it,
brother
2
Roman
sections to
Reigns.
the right instead
Yes.
of down next to us? I know how disappointed you were when that happened.
I
But
was very disappointed.
Yeah.
Not as disappointed as my girlfriend was. She loves Roman Reigns.
that's true.
But yes. So here are some noteworthy moments from that match. So Kane was in the match basically to assist Randy Orton in winning the belts, and in order to show solidarity with Kane, Orton was also wearing a crimson mask by the end of this match. He got bonked in the head with one of the ladders early on, and the top of his head got busted the fuck open, requiring 12 stitches. It was the most blood we've seen in the WWE since Tamina Snuka's last Menzies session.
Oh, God. 12 staples.
Staples, sorry, not
On
stitches.
a,
Staples.
on a similar note to your last comment, Troy on the side proving again that he fits in here perfectly.
Mm.
Says, summer squirting is what my last Google search was.
Yep.
So there's that.
You could probably find a couple matches for that.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, then we got one of course, the Jeff Hardy-esque hanging in the air spots, as both Sheamus and Cesaro at one point were hanging from the cord. They had enough power to dangle one-handed and punch each other, and yet somehow neither of them thought to just grab the belts which were hanging right above their heads. Go figure.
Yeah,
And I think at one point they were hanging by the straps too, right?
Yeah, they both had their arms, like one forearm in one or both of the belts,
Yeah.
which makes me wonder if those belts weren't fucking glued up there, because those are some strong fucking snaps.
Yeah, they have to be really confident in that spot that those straps are going to hold up, because otherwise you have two guys falling from the ceiling with a belt.
I'm thinking something was done that maybe those were riveted together somehow.
Maybe.
Which is why you had to remove the hook and not just the belts, because goddamn, either that or there was some crazy fucking industrial strength snaps on them fucking title belts.
Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. I mean, the spot was not that impressive. I mean, yeah, they were hanging in the air, but it was just kind of dumb because it's like, just grab the fucking belts. Unhook the belt. Unhook the goddamn belt. You're right there. Anyway. The craziest spot in the match also involved Sheamus and Cesaro, and I'm not even sure how to accurately describe it, but I'll try. Basically, they were both on a ladder, but Bray Wyatt then wedged another ladder between its rungs.
Science, bitch!
That's right. Roman Reigns then tried to tip the ladder over, but because the other ladder was wedged between it, the ladder just tipped to the side, causing Sheamus and Cesaro to dangle from it. Frankly, I'm surprised anyone in the WWE could actually figure out the physics which were involved in coming up with that spot. So kudos. Maybe they rehired Matt Stryker. I don't know.
Cesaro. So yeah, it was Cesaro on the side that got tipped, and so he's kind of dangling and then climbed around to the other side that was now on top where Cesaro was. And they started fighting with each other as someone, I don't remember who, tipped the ladder back up to standing.
Yeah.
It was an interesting spot. It was very interesting.
It was a pretty cool spot. It's actually kind of impressive after all these years that they're still coming up with new ladder spots.
Mm-hmm.
There was obviously quite a bit of rehashing with the hanging onto the cord and all that, but they actually, they come up with some new stuff too, so it's okay. Sadly, I don't think we'll ever see the ladder catapult again. Way to ruin that, Joey Mercury. But anyway, where was I? Oh yes, another nifty spot involved Cesaro climbing the ladder, but Orton jerked him off and caught him in midair for an RKO. Orton and Reigns then climbed the ladder, but Kane emerged to help out Orton, and he choke-slammed Reigns off the ladder. Kane held the ladder so Orton could climb it, but then John Cena scampered into the ring, hit Kane with an attitude adjustment, and then he gave Orton an AA on top of the fallen Kane. Cena then climbed the ladder and, yes, won the match and his 15th World Championship, which officially puts him one behind Ric Flair for the most of all time. And let me tell you, it was just as fresh for the 15th time as it was for the first 14. Hunter and Steph were on commentary at ringside, and for some reason, they looked distraught over the fact that Cena won the match. I would say that's pretty surprising, since he's been the face of the company for the past 8 or so years, and logically that would seem to make him the person who is best for business, but what do I know? Now, I have to say, even though I shouldn't be surprised by this, I actually was surprised that they just mailed it in and gave the belts to Cena. I really thought they'd go in a new direction and let someone else run with it, as they had been planned presumably to do with Daniel Bryan. But then I remembered we're entering the summer months when ratings typically take a nosedive, so they probably want to put the belt on the alleged quote-unquote top guy. Here's a quick history as to who the world champion has been on July 1st the past few years. 2014, John Cena. 2013, John Cena. 2012, CM Punk, coming off the summer of Punk a year earlier. 2011, John Cena. I guess what I'm saying is, much like the cast of Total Divas, none of us should like summer. Your thoughts on the match and on the show as a whole?
On the side, Troy's comment from earlier was, gotta love that amazing RKO on Cesaro. That's why we waited on that, because that was pretty fantastic.
Twas.
As I posted on Twitter immediately after the show, Why the fuck would you make that choice? The big argument against that was, oh well, he's going to fight Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and Brock Lesnar is going to take the title from him at SummerSlam, and then whoever beats Brock Lesnar, that's like a push to the moon because Brock Lesnar beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Well, wouldn't it
Except
presumably
except
be Seth Rollins beating Brock Lesnar if he tries to cash in on him?
except here's the problem
Oh,
with that is why rely on Brock Lesnar in the first place? Why not say, I don't know, accomplish exactly the same story about having the guy the Authority didn't want to win the titles, and also shocking, say, I don't know, create a new top superstar in the company and fucking give it to Roman goddamn Reigns.
yeah. Or Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been the exact same story, but yeah.
Well, yeah, right,
Um, or Cesaro. But anyway, but yeah, fuck Brock Lesnar is my point.
right. Oh,
There's no need. The whole John Cena versus Lesnar at SummerSlam thing is just gonna piss the shit out of me. Uh,
well, in fairness, though, when Brock came back for his first match when he re-signed, he did have a pretty awesome match with Cena at Extreme Rules.
yes, but not for the WWE title.
True. Well, maybe they're inspired by the fact that they put the belt on The Rock last year, and he was a part timer, and he wasn't there every week,
Yeah.
so maybe they're
And
like, well, we've done it before, and people didn't give too much of a shit.
And speaking of these summer doldrums on of Raw, can I comment on the fact that Raw, last night's episode of Raw was the highest rated since the 28th of April?
Really?
Yes.
Well, and deservedly so, I will say. Oh, but you
Yeah,
think
we'll
that
get
you
to
think they're
that.
going to attribute that to Cena?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. That's true.
Uh,
In fairness, it was a great show last night. Not because
yes.
of Cena, but it was a
Oh,
very
last night.
entertaining.
Sunday was great
Yeah.
too,
Oh yeah, yeah. Money in the Bank, I liked a lot.
except for the very end.
Yeah, I will
Um,
say being there live was really enjoyable. You did
yes,
have
as it
some
always
filler.
is. As it always is.
Yeah, you did have some filler, but the ladder matches were good. Specifically, the briefcase match was, I thought, excellent.
Hmm.
Usos versus Wyatt family, really good.
Yep.
Paige versus Naomi, good. I liked that match.
For a
Um,
Divas match, it was great.
yeah, Big E and Rusev was whatever. Summer Rae and Layla, completely unnecessary. The Dust Brothers also not really necessary.
Wow.
Probably could have cut one of those matches and given us more sweet, sexy ladder action, but whatever. But yeah, overall, I would say just like Daniel Bryan, solid B plus.
I gave it a B plus too on Facebook actually.
There you go.
Here's my
I
last
agree.
comment on Money in the Bank before we get to Troy on the side here.
Sure.
Um, the sight of the arena during the Wyatt entrance
Yes. Yes.
when the entire arena is lit up by nothing but the flashlights on cell phones
Yep.
is something that cannot really be described in words
Pretty
and
cool.
needs to be experienced in person.
Which I did not realize that was the case until you told me it. I thought they still left some of the lights on, but I didn't realize
No,
that actually they turned all of the lights off. It's
they
completely
do.
pitch black
Yes,
except for the phones.
except for during Rowan Harper's entrance, it was except for the spotlight on them.
Right.
Fairly certain during Bray Wyatt's entrance, the only other light in the arena was the fucking lantern.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty
You
cool.
can still. It's not like you see it on TV. They jack down the aperture on the camera so that it looks like it's actually dark. If you're there in person, you can see everything.
Yep.
It's not it's not as lit up as with the actual stage lights and shit, obviously, but it's not dark,
Yeah.
and it's incredible. So if
And
you
we,
get the
we
chance
yeah,
to
that was good.
experience that in person, it's pretty fucking fantastic.
Yeah, provided they don't do the teleport entrance instead.
On the side, Troy chimes in with, I don't think the WWE actually knows what a push is. Cesaro has lost his last two pay-per-view matches, and now you have Roman Reigns who will lose two in a row. I'm not sure I agree with that because, Cesaro and Roman's loss on this pay-per-view was in an 8-man ladder match, so it kind of doesn't count. And then next month, it's a fatal 4-way, and he probably won't be involved in the decision. So
Probably not.
I don't see John Cena pinning Roman Reigns to retain the title.
You never
So
know.
so As for Cesaro, again, 8-man ladder match. It's not that bad of a loss because there's 7 other guys involved, so I'm not
Yeah.
too concerned about it.
But the thing about Cesaro, though, I mean,
I think he's going to win the Intercontinental title battle royal at Battleground, but we'll get to that in a
yeah,
minute.
very possible. But the thing specifically with Cesaro that perplexes me because huge babyface pop at WrestleMania, they basically turn him face that night because he just aligns himself with Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter, goes into the Battle Royal, fucking scoop slams the Big Show out of the ring, gets a huge, massive pop, wins the trophy, and then the next night they're like, hey, let's turn him heel by aligning him with Paul Heyman.
Except not, because he's not actually a heel.
Yeah, but I mean, he's
everybody's still cheering the shit out of him.
He's being booked as a heel. He was booked as a heel last night on Raw.
Yeah, but the angle's gonna end where he turns on Heyman and everybody fucking cheers the shit out of him anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know. I just don't understand the logic there. I don't know why you wouldn't just automatically make him a super face. I think, as we've mentioned before in this podcast, they probably aligned him with Heyman because they don't think Cesaro can do his own talking. And obviously, by default, if you're aligning with Heyman.
I'm not sure that's it. I'm not sure that's it because Heyman is a star maker, and I think sure it didn't work for Curtis Axel, and it didn't really work for Ryback. But being a Heyman guy has a certain
je ne sais quoi.
Thank you. My wife's from behind me. I hear the word cachet, which is exactly the word I was looking for. It's there's a certain stroke to it that so when he does turn on Heyman, because everybody hates Heyman.
Of course.
So when he does finally turn on Heyman, that's just going to be that further boost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Into super
face, of course.
Because we're cheering him anyway.
Yeah.
And
assuming, of course, that Heyman doesn't turn on him first like he did with CM Punk.
Nah, that wouldn't happen.
Okay.
Anyway. Troy also says Bray Wyatt looked lost in that match, and it really showed his weakness.
See, that was tough to tell live because, we couldn't see a lot of what was going on the floor. Like, our angle was, we couldn't really tell.
I found myself mostly watching the big screen as opposed to watching the ring. But
sometimes,
you can't. When you're there in person, he very well might have. Like I said, I haven't watched the replay. You said you haven't watched the replay on the network.
No.
So there are things you miss by being there in person that you don't catch when you watch on TV because you don't have all the angles and you don't have the commentators in your ear explaining things as we go.
Yeah. Some of the things that stuck out to me, too, live was, I would notice when a guy wasn't in the match for a while, because I think, in the first ladder match, I was like, where the fuck is Dolph Ziggler? He hasn't been in this match forever.
Exactly. Yeah, Dolph just disappeared.
Yeah, because we couldn't see the floor.
Yeah.
So,
and then...
But actually, we were at the right event where if you can't see the floor, you're at the right event because there are ladders. So, when people are climbing up a ladder in the middle of the ring, you get a great view of that. Right. You don't really need to watch the Titantron for that. But anyway...
And then Ricardo says Rollins definitely hit the top of his head with the standing ladder on the way down. I was really glad that he didn't get his skull cracked open, but more on that later.
That would have been amusing too because he was booked to win the briefcase. If he won the briefcase and was like, yeah, I'm out 6 months now, so I'll cash in at some point.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Raw.
All right.
We open Raw with a recap of the WWE title ladder match. Then in the arena, welcome the Authority. They are surprisingly cheerful given the results of that match. Steph then basically recaps the major moments in the show. Hunter then calls Cena an A-plus player and brings him to the ring. He has both titles draped around his neck because respect. Cena promises...
Like surprisingly, I don't know why, but...
Fucking goddamn it. It is the most prestigious title in the company. It is not a fucking scarf.
Well, you're talking to the guy who turned their most prestigious title into a spinner belt, so this is a step up from that.
That's true. That's true. Cena promises to still be champion at the undisclosed time in the future when Daniel Bryan comes back from his second surgery.
I'd believe it.
Yeah. Steph then announces that Cena is the cover athlete for WWE 2K15, so I went to GameStop and canceled my reservation. No, I didn't. Hopefully this one will have a reversible cover, too. It also has the new WWE logo, which I'm still not a big fan of.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I've seen this, but yeah, this is like basically the WWE Network thing, right?
yep.
Yeah.
Cena is suspicious of them. Hunter says he has no problem with Cena being champion as long as he shows some respect.
Mm.
He also started speaking like Cena and making fun of his accent and thuggishness, but it's best if we forget that part.
Yeah, that was kind of bizarre.
Yeah, since Cena wants to take the hard road, Hunter makes a fatal four-way for the title at Battleground. John
Mm.
has a match against two of his opponents tonight, Randy and Kane, and his partner is the other man in that match, Roman Reigns.
Yep.
John then makes multiple and repeated references to Stephanie and the pool of crap.
Yeah. It was
He
very
said it.
subtle.
He said it what 4 times in a row?
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
You
He was
fell.
basically driving home the point. He's like, that's as embarrassing as getting dumped into a pool of crap. Like that time you got dumped in a pool of crap.
You dumped.
Yeah.
Pool of crap.
Yep. Because there was poo.
Pool of crap. Ugh. Hunter then threatens him with Seth Rollins if he survives the fatal four-way at Battleground. Seth then appears while Cena's on the stage and heads for the ring while Cena leaves. Seth is in action after the break.
Yeah, and props to him for fighting the next night after taking those brutal spots and still putting on a great match with RVD the next night.
Troy chimes in with, how terrible was Stephanie's transition? How many of you are gamers?
Yeah,
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
that
On
was
the
pretty weird.
app, Tom promises us an exclusive word with The Rock, spoiler alert. Then we get a video from last night. We come back for the start of Seth's match against RVD. A Seth penalty finishes off RVD.
I'm
Renee
glad
tries
you're
to
running with that.
Yes, damn right. Renee tries to interview Seth after the match, but he berates her for not introducing him correctly as Mr. Money in the Bank, and he calls her Toots, so that happened.
Yeah, that was nice.
We are
Hey there,
just
sugar tits.
we're just bitter because we were wrong. Dean then appears on the big screen to promise that this is not over. Dean promises to ruin Seth's every cash-in attempt.
Mm-hmm.
Foreshadowing.
Aw.
Tonight, Sheamus and the Usos take on the Wyatt family, plus Cena and Reigns versus Orton and Kane. On the app, it's Alicia's birthday. There's a new lady announcer, but I didn't catch her name. Tom gets wrapped in crepe paper. Meanwhile, a SmackDown commercial asks, who walked away from Money in the Bank? The new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Spoiler alert, they opened the show you're watching with that very news. Enter Rusev when we come back. Cheap heat, cheap heat, cheap heat. America's next best hope is Jack Swagger?
Yeah. Came out of nowhere.
Zeb steals a line from Chris Jericho, spoiler alert, and says a real American can stop the Rusev crush. Is this a face turn?
Clearly, I think it is. The crowd was chanting, "Let's go, Swagger."
I was going to say, holy shit, a Let's Go Swagger chant. Please tell me the last time you heard that anywhere.
It's never once happened.
Backstage,
That is the first time on record. And I think, do you think they're actually going to have the balls to have Swagger and Rusev streak? Because you would think when you turn a guy face, you want to give him some momentum off of that face turn.
I'm not wondering if this is not punishment for him injuring another superstar.
well, yeah, maybe.
You think you think you can fuck up the briefcase match at one of our biggest pay-per-views of the year? Go get crushed by Rusev, you fuck.
Yeah. I actually can surprisingly see them having Swagger end the streak.
Oh, good.
When I say the streak, I mean Rusev's undefeated streak. But yeah,
Right.
I could see them doing it.
Backstage, the Sheamusos are going crazy walking down a hallway. On the app, it was on this date in 2009 that Sheamus made his debut in WWECW.
Hey.
Enter Sheamus when we return. Enter Usos. Hartford, we're here. Wyatt's win. This makes me happy.
Yep.
Backstage, Tom is with Nikki. Steph belittles her. Cole says there have been rumors all day about a former champion returning, proving Cole doesn't know what the word rumors means since they announced it on the app and on the pre-show.
Yep. And as you can verify because I texted you about it in advance, I called it.
Yes, you did. Oh, also, going back to Money in the Bank for just a moment because I just reminded myself of this. You did not mention the part backstage where Stephanie, Nikki and Brie were backstage, and then they showed Stephanie the pool of crap on her cell phone. And one of the Mark Sherman was one of the cops that came and
that's right
Brie out.
Was he
So
also the person who teleported the cell phone video directly into the camera somehow?
it's possible.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So,
He
so
does it
yes,
all.
he was a hot dog, and then he was a cop. Hot dog cops.
Hot dog cop.
All right.
Wasn't that
On
called
the
Turner and Hooch?
yeah, on the app, lady announcer Eden, aka Mrs. Stardust, is with the Funkadactyls. Cameron's a
Oh,
twat,
that's
etc.
right. So they brought her back because she was
Mm-hmm.
gone for a while. Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. And then she was in NXT, and now she's back on the main roster because her husband is Stardust, I guess.
Do you think that
Enter.
she has him keep the makeup on? Talk Stardust to me.
Enter the inspirational Bo Dallas. When we
Yes.
return, he wants 60 seconds of silence for two great superstars who are physically unable to compete.
Yeah. I don't know how many seconds this was. It seemed like
It
more than
felt like more
60,
than 60.
which was pretty awesome.
Bad News Barrett and Daniel Bryan. He does his quasi Tebow pose on the top of the ramp. They dim the lights and give him a spotlight, and he goes, as I said, at least a full minute.
Yeah.
What television?
That was amazing because, like, with
That's
the short attention spans of wrestling fans, I thought there was no way they were going to go through with that. But
that's that's
kudos.
that's really fucking daring too, because that's a minute of dead air.
Yeah.
Just the announcement,
But
with
yeah, it's a
just the
3-hour
announcement,
show.
with Cole and Lawler mocking him and JBL telling them to shut the fuck up repeatedly.
Yeah.
We get a recap of the kickoff and his inspirational speech. Tonight he's facing off against. Wait, no, I'm being told he didn't actually have a match. They're
Nope.
having a handicap divas match instead. Fuck you!
Yep.
God damn it. Naomi pins Nikki. Nobody fucking cares. Funkadactyls don't see eye to eye. Nobody fucking cares.
Yep.
Up
They
next,
overcame the odds, though. They defeated Nikki Bella. They worked together to defeat Nikki Bella.
I wish you were able to see the comments on the side because I really want you to read that one.
I'll read it. I have to
Okay.
just move my raccoon self over here. Uh, Troy Boson, I believe is how it's pronounced. A Milwaukee Brewer fan, by the way. Kudos, they're having a good year. He says there's going to be some gold-smeared thighs after the Dust Brothers win the titles. Yes, indeed. I would agree with that as well.
There you go.
The Dust. So wait, is he saying that Gold Dust is going to have a go too?
That's for your own imagination to figure out.
Hey, I mean they're already pretty weird, so I could see it happening. I could see Eden being into that. Her name is Eden, for fuck's sake. I mean, look in your Bible, folks. Come on. Stardust is in the Garden of Eden on a nightly basis.
Up next, a medical update on Bad News Barrett and on the status of the Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
On the app, Tom gives us the option to choose which cash-in on John Cena we want to see later tonight, Edge in 2006 or Sandow last year. If Sandow wins, this is definitely rigged.
Yeah. Let's see, the one which was successful or the one which was unsuccessful. I wonder.
We come back for some special Olympians in the crowd. We then go back to SmackDown for Wade getting injured. Cole says his separated shoulder will keep him out of action for months. So there will be an Intercontinental title battle royal at Battleground. Motherfuck.
That must have been a pretty fucked up separated shoulder.
Yeah. I looked it up on Wikipedia because I thought separated and dislocated were the same thing, and they are not.
Ah, okay. So the WWE is not bullshitting about this one. This one may actually be accurate.
Yes.
Unlike when they said Zack Ryder had a broken back.
So, yeah. So Wikipedia separated shoulder and find out why it's going to take him so long to come back.
Gotcha.
I looked it up. You looked it up, but I looked it up too. I just looked it up after you looked it up. Anyway. Yes, my wife informed. My wife was the one that informed me that there was a difference, but I looked it up today. So technically, I did still look it up. She just looked it up first. Anyway. Enter Paul Heyman. He brags for a while, as he is wont to do, and says Cesaro will be the next Intercontinental Champion. His opponent is Kofi Kingston. The Hartford crowd chants CM Punk as we go to break because they're morons.
I also did like the fact, just a quick side note, that Paul Heyman referred to Cesaro as battle royalty. since he won the Andre the
Yes.
Giant Battle Royal. Yeah,
Right.
but also strangely, he referred to him as the number one seed in the Battle Royal, which seems strange to me
That
because
doesn't
there
make
are no
sense.
seeds. It's not a tournament. It's a Battle Royal.
On the app, Kofi wins with a roll up. They finally did it. They finally ended a match on the app.
On the app during
Uh,
commercial.
when
Was
we
that a
come,
fuck up, do you think, or was that intended? So they could be like, well, you have to watch the app.
I think it was intended.
Yeah.
When we come back, Cesaro beats the shit out of Kofi Kingston. Backstage, Santino is talking to himself. I mean, the Cobra. No, it
Mm,
was himself. And then Adam Rose appears to make it a commercial for Twisted Tea.
yeah. It was very subtle, but if you looked closely, you could see some product placement.
That was the most shameless product placement since Vicky was eating Hardee's.
Yeah, or that one time where Jared from Subway was backstage handing out subs.
Yeah.
Or that time where there was just a random Foot Locker guy backstage.
I forgot
Anyway,
about that one.
yeah. Or when the Deadliest Catch guys were on WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
Fucking
Yeah.
WrestleMania. Santino eating crab
Also
legs
with
with
Vicky
his
Guerrero.
Cobra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, still a hot dog. On,
Your friend was the hot dog again?
yes. On
Nice.
the app, Tom sends us to Eden last night, who was with Paige. Enter Vince McMahon when we come back, except it's Damian Sandow.
Yep.
This was really good.
I
They
didn't think
tricked
his
me.
impression was very good, but he
I
did
did.
fool me.
I
Fooled
I,
me that
I
he thinking he was
disagree.
famous.
I disagree. I think the impression was pretty good. Vincent Kennedy McMandow enters Damian Sandow into the Intercontinental Title Battle Royal. I liked your idea better.
What did I say?
That he just names himself the Intercontinental Champion
Oh
because he's
yeah.
Vince McMahon. Damn it!
Yeah, which by the way I thought was also amusing that Stephanie showed up. Not to spoil the next part, but she basically honored the fact that he entered himself in the battle royal. She wasn't like, "No, fuck you, you can't do that." She was like, "Well, I guess you're Vince McMahon, so got to enter you in the battle royal. I'll honor that."
See, I thought it was a really good impression. Stephanie then appears on the big screen and is not impressed. Stephanie said her father made his name taking on giants, so Damian gets the same chance against another Intercontinental title competitor, the Great Khali.
Who I initially thought was the former champion they were booking as returning that night. I was like, "No, it can't be."
By the way, I've said it before. I'm going to say it again.
Hmm.
Drew McIntyre gets fired, but the Great Khali is still goddamn around.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck is that about? Fuck
Maybe
is that about?
he keeps the Indian fans.
God damn it.
That's why they could let Jinder Mahal go. Jinder Mahal gets fired, a guy who can actually wrestle a little bit. He gets fired, but the Great Khali stays because he's tall.
Yeah. Sandow gets pinned immediately. No, literally,
Yep.
immediately.
With a brain chop.
Backstage, the former limo, the former limo? I don't know what I was reading there. Backstage, the limo containing the former WWE champion is still here. The driver opens the door, but no one gets out before we go to break. On the app, Tom is with Layla. Summer appears, then the video freezes, so I don't know what you wanted. Your former WWE champion is The Miz.
Yep.
Let's just forget about that whole complaining about not being on TV thing, shall we? The crowd is happy to see him. He's back for all of us because we do not realize how talented he is. We take him for granted. We're all wrong because he is amazing.
Yeah.
He's an A-lister, and he will not stop until he is main eventing WrestleMania once again. Enter Chris motherfucking Jericho.
Fucking called it.
Miz is not impressed. Miz berates him for interrupting and then eats a codebreaker. Jericho then started to welcome us to Raw is Sheepcut. This segment just gets better and better. If John Cena wanted to come out, vacate the titles, and walk away and promise never to come back, I could die a happy man right now.
Indeed. Fantasy booking.
The Wyatts take out Jericho, and we Sheepcut to commercial. On the app, Tom reminds us what just happened, then shows us an ad for Hercules. Which is the Rock speech he was talking about earlier. We come back from break for a replay of what happened before break. Goldfish Fandango is in the ring, the darkened ring. Oh, there's the spotlight. He is facing Ziggler tonight. Then Ziggler faces Cesaro tomorrow night on main event.
Yeah.
Which we're currently missing, but that's all right. Summer Rae appears and makes out with Ziggler. She leaves. Zigzag. Good night.
Yeah. Are
Um,
they? I wonder if they're actually going to turn this into a thing with Summer Rae and Dolph.
just think of all
Because
the mixed tag team matches we could have.
oh yes, of course. Just
Mm,
think of all the secrets they can share with each other about their hair,
yeah,
because it looks so similar.
yeah. On the app, Tom promises a rematch from last night. Up next, he then sends to a video from last night featuring Byron and Goldust and Stardust.
Hmm.
When we come back, we go back to last week and Vicky's kitty pool. Sorry,
Yeah.
that works.
You got
That works.
thrown in a pool of shit.
That works better. That
That
pun
pool
works
of
better.
shit.
That pun works better in writing than it does in speech. Pool of crap. It was a pool of crap. It's more embarrassing than getting thrown into a pool of crap. What I'm saying is that it was a pool of crap, and you were covered in crap, and it was a pool of it, is what I'm
I'm
saying.
saying you were covered in butt mud, is what I'm saying.
Yo, mud! Enter Rybass Hole. More on them later. Enter the
Oh,
Dustbusters. As I said earlier, my wife thinks Stardust should be silver. JBL says, "Here come a bunch of weirdos," and I laughed. I laughed. And as we discussed earlier, I'm fairly certain I heard that JBL call them the Dustbusters, which means now 2/3 of the Raw announce team listens to this show. Just get Lawler to watch, and we've got the whole thing covered.
I highly doubt Lawler even knows what a podcast is.
He has a Twitter, though. He
Ah,
does have a Twitter.
yes, I know because he answered it last week. I think either on Twitter or Instagram when he got caught looking at Paige's ass.
That's right.
Yeah.
Stardust pins Axel, who's back to his original trunks. On the app, Tom is with Dolph. Enter Paige when we come back. Paige is here to stay as Divas champion. And then suddenly, because we hadn't had enough returns tonight, it's fucking AJ, man.
Fuck yeah. This turned into a Bret Hart, Steve Austin double turn.
Yes, it did. AJ congratulates Paige on her title reign and thanks her for slapping her back to reality. Paige doesn't buy it. Paige says she's just trying to reenact when Paige took the title from her, and she won't let that happen. Paige then says a stupid thing. I don't think these people tonight want to see a Divas title match. AJ then wants to let the crowd decide, and the crowd, unsurprisingly, says, yeah, we kind of want a Divas title match.
AJ also prominently flashing that rock on her finger.
So Paige grants AJ her rematch. Careful, Paige. She's pregnant.
That's right.
On the app, Edge's cash in won the fan vote.
Whoa! You didn't cover the pinfall.
Oh, that's right.
Well, anyway,
AJ
I just want to say it's good to have AJ back. I'm glad she's back, but I think they fucked this up because basically it was Paige saying, "I'm not gonna do what you did the night after WrestleMania. I'm not gonna fuck it up," and then 2 seconds later she's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll do it. And then she loses the title. I think they really should have built this up, like since nobody gives a shit about Battleground. They should have built it up for like a month. You know, have like, build up AJ's return match. Instead, they just give it away.
3 weeks. But yeah, it's cute that you think they actually care about storylines in the Divas division.
Yeah, it's true.
P is for Paige, kids.
Yes,
you know what else starts with P? Placeholder.
Yeah. Which is sad because they should.
So AJ's the Divas champion again.
Yeah, well, maybe they want to do a thing where like they can keep going back and forth and having. I assume they can put on great matches together. We've only seen little brief matches between the two of them.
They both can wrestle, so there's that.
They can, yeah. And now we know AJ's baby will be born deformed, but that's okay because she's the champ, so it's all right. And and what was the more surprising turn tonight? Swagger turning face or Paige turning heel?
I think Swagger, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
But Paige turning heel makes a lot more sense, I think, because she kind of, I don't know, she just looks like a heel to me. The way she just comes across as a heel. I don't know.
Racist.
Yeah, because she's so white, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the app, Edge's cash in won the fan vote. Still gives me goosebumps to this day.
The first time ever. First time you did it.
That's right.
New Year's Revolution, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
In 2006.
Yep. Were you there the night we were watching that at Good Times in Somerville, Massachusetts? Because I watched that pay-per-view. I actually went to Good Times to watch that pay-per-view, and then Cena won, and everyone was like, "Oh fuck, fucking Cena wins again." And then Vince came out and did the cash, and everyone was like, "Oh shit."
No, I was watching that at my house.
Ah, well,
So
you missed out because the crowd popped like a mofo.
sorry, I'm just making sure my thing is still working because it
That's what
just
he
peaked
said.
out on me a little bit. Thank you.
Jerry Lawler also has to make sure his thing is still working on a daily
Wow.
basis. Yeah.
You know. It's doing that thing now where I talk and then half a second later I hear myself, and it kind
Hmm.
of tweaked out for a second. So I want to make sure I'm still recording
Hmm.
because God knows that's been a problem in the past.
Indeed. Indeed.
Friday on SmackDown, it's Sheamus's 4th of July U.S. Championship Challenge. Hunter's on commentary. Well, he's at the table to watch the main event. And,
Spoiler alert for Sheamus's U.S. title challenge. Lex Luger is going to show up and slam him.
oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yep.
Enter heels, enter faces. We get 2 consecutive 5 moves of Dooms. And
Yeah.
then an RKO for Cena and a Superman punch for Kane. Orton and Roman fight to the back. Then Kane and Cena are suddenly fighting on the outside, and Kane gets disqualified by using the steps. Tombstone back in the ring for Cena. The crowd chants, "One more time!" And I think Kane should oblige, but he doesn't.
Hmm.
Little Nate calls for the doctor, as though he didn't see Cena's head was a good 3 inches from the mat on on Impact rather.
Yeah.
Hunter waves for Seth Rollins and shoves the EMT out of the ring. Where's Dean?
Yep.
For the first time in history, the referee argues the cash-in, and this gives Ambrose time to run in and attack Seth, as promised. They fight
Yep.
off through the crowd. Hunter calls the ref a moron, and Kane brings a chair in the ring and gets speared by Roman Reigns. Roman and Hunter stare at each other, and they mouth words at each other, and they stare at each other. Crowd chants, "This is awesome!" And
Yeah.
Hunter drops to the floor. Roman's theme plays as we go off the air.
I guess the crowd really wants the Triple H Roman Reigns match.
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of turns, I think one they're unintentionally doing as a turn is they're basically turning Dean Ambrose into the biggest heel in the company. Because it's like, yeah, Seth Rollins is going to cash in, take the belt off Cena. No, no, Ambrose prevented that. I guess half the crowd would like that, but I feel like more fans would want Raw. If you're there live, you want to see the cash in,
Yeah.
right?
Well, unless they do something absolutely stupid, I think it's fairly clear that Rollins going to have the briefcase until at least after SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I
and
have a
as well
feeling
he
he's going to
should.
be carrying that thing around for a long time.
He should, because if he did hypothetically cash in the Raw the next night on Money in the Bank, then you're just done with Money in the Bank for the next year.
Right. And we
which
had
I
that
think kind of
discussion
sucks.
at the pay-per-view because I wasn't looking for it to happen, but I said I would not have been surprised if there had been a same night cash in because it was an 8-man ladder match.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, hopefully they drag it out.
shall we move on?
We shall.
It's time for our weekly check-in from Sal.
Hey, oh wow, this is becoming an actual
This is
segment.
becoming a thing, yeah. Since the Rundown invaded the Garden at Money in the Bank, fans of the Rundown have some very important questions that must be answered, such
Mm,
as, is Paige really that pale in person? Is
she
Sheamus
is.
paler than Paige? Or is
Hmm.
Adam paler than both of them? There's a chance.
Yeah, I think you probably have them both beat.
No, but seriously, did the crowd really pop when Cena won the belt, or was that more of a network tweak? No, they actually did.
Yeah, they did. I think they would have popped for anybody winning, but I mean, it is Cena's quote unquote hometown, so yeah, you know.
Was the loudest pop of the night when Ambrose came back out? It sure seemed like that on the network.
Yeah,
Ah,
that was a pretty good size pop. Which I didn't actually realize at the time because we were kind of on an angle, so I didn't see Ambrose running to the ring at first. I just heard the
right.
crowd going apeshit.
Yeah. Um, it might have been. There was a pretty good pop when Seth won, though. And
Oh
there
yeah,
was also a pretty good pop for the Undertaker in the pre-show WrestleMania video that they always show. So there was that too.
yes, yes. The Undertaker is still very over, despite his loss.
And for Christian being on the panel.
Yes, and
Uh,
Booker T actually got a sizable
yeah,
reaction.
that's true.
Alex Riley, not so much.
Yeah, yeah. And final question. Was the crowd into most of the card, or did they check out at different points, such as Rybaxel's match, or Layla versus Summer Rae, or even Adam Rose and Damian Sandow?
No, I think actually the only match where the crowd really checked out was the Layla Summer Rae match. Everything else, even the Stardust match, the crowd was pretty well into
Yeah.
it. And Adam Rose and Damian Sandow. I mean, it was pretty short match, but I mean, it kept our interest.
I think so.
Yeah.
I do want to comment on the fact that something you don't realize when you watch on TV because you never see it, but the revelers, at least at Money in the Bank, were
Hmm.
just standing about 3/4 of the way down the aisle, dancing the entire time.
Yes.
Like they did
Which
not
was a nice
stop. They
touch.
were the entire time.
Yeah. We have
Your
a
thoughts
comment
on
on
the
the side.
Boston crowd at Money in the Bank, Sal?
Good crowd. I thought it was a good crowd.
I think so. We got
Huge.
plenty of
Actually, you know what? No, the biggest reaction was probably Daniel Bryan.
true. That's true
Yeah,
in the
I think
pre-show.
that he definitely did. We hadn't seen
Yeah,
him on TV in a while. He was there
right.
live. Yeah, I think Daniel Bryan. Everybody knew he was going to be coming out. They were already going crazy for that because we can't watch the pre-show while we're there. We don't know what's being said. So
Right.
we were just basically like, once Michael Cole went in the ring, we were like, oh shit,
Speaking of which,
he's gonna come out.
uh, biggest heel heat, Michael Cole.
Yeah, he
He
was up
got
there.
booed a lot.
Which is surprising because he's now a face commentator and he did save Jerry Lawler's life. But I guess some things can't be forgiven. Some things can't be forgiven. The man was covered in barbecue sauce by John Cena. We can't forgive that. We can't forgive that. That was a main event of an
Yeah,
episode of Raw.
yeah, it
That was a
was.
main. Just remember that.
I try to forget it, but
Yeah.
on the side, Troy chimes in. My prediction for Seth Rollins cash-in is that John Cena takes 16 shots to the head from the briefcase. Then Rollins runs him over with a car and hits an actual curb stomp, only for Cena to kick out at 2 and retain.
Yeah. Of course. Of course. I like the way the man thinks. But of course, Troy, just so you know, it's not called the curb stomp anymore. Here on the show, we call it the Seth penalty. So
That's true.
just so you're aware. But since you were talking about an actual curb stomp, it's okay.
Yes. You have a game, I assume? Even though this is
I
just
do. Well, it was mostly for if you were going head to head with somebody else. I just did another quick listomania. But if you'd like to play,
we can
would you
hold
like to
off then.
play?
That's fine. We're
Oh,
already
okay.
at
All
an
right.
hour 20.
Are we really? Wow. Going
Mhm.
cruising along. I expected Andy to join us, but I guess he's. Are you going to be doing something with him tomorrow?
No. It's
Aw.
just us this week.
Aw.
It's all right.
But you're not. Are you
He's on,
rendezvousing with Andy since he'll be
he's
in
on
Massachusetts?
vacation.
All right.
I didn't even make up a fake story for him this week because he's on vacation. Let the man
All
have
right.
vacation for once.
We'll wait another week to play Listermania then.
We're gonna see him on Friday though. I have to bleep that out now.
Oh, that's the name of the game.
Rundown Showdown. This week's matchup was, of course, Shawn Michaels versus The Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Did
tell
we
you
get a
about
good
this.
turnout for this one?
Not bad. I
Okay.
didn't tell you about this because I wanted to get your honest reaction when I told you about it the first time on the show.
Okay. All right.
Yesterday afternoon, because I wanted to remind people that we were recording on Tuesday this week, and
Mhm.
also get that last minute vote rush for the
Mhm.
for the showdown. I
Sure.
posted it to my Twitter and the show's Twitter, and as usual, I used Big Show's and Shawn Michaels' Twitter handles in the tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Big Show tweeted back at me,
No, really.
saying LMBO, which took me far too long to realize meant laughing my butt off.
Or balls off is what I would have assumed.
Or balls. Okay. Well, he says, gee, let me think really hard. Shawn Michaels or me? Shawn Michaels gets my vote.
Oh my God. I honestly, well, first of all, that's a sign right there that we should have. I don't know where the voting has gone, but obviously, if one of the people in it says, "Yeah, I suck," that's pretty good. But that's amazing. I can't believe Big Show actually tweeted that
I
back.
know.
That's awesome.
So I tweeted back at him thanking him for making my Monday.
Mm.
And then a little bit later, I tweeted back at him again just to clarify that Shawn was the number 1 seed and he was number 9, I think.
Mm.
So,
Did he
anyway,
write back after that?
no, sadly. But I really got a kick out of that.
Now I feel a little bit worse about what I wrote for my vote, but okay.
All right. So the comments. Because he's Mr. WrestleMania, because he's the showstopper, the icon, the main event, the Heartbreak Kid, and because he was not Knucklehead.
Touche,
Uh,
touche.
don't fucking question my choice. That was one.
What did he go with Big Show or what was that?
Since when has Big Show won at WrestleMania? Can't
Say
quote
he beat
Mr.
Cody Rhodes?
WrestleMania. The showstopper, the pants shitter.
What?
That's what it says.
I don't recall Shawn Michaels shitting his pants, but I mean, well, a lot of people in this on the in the tournament have shit their pants, so I guess maybe it's possible.
I don't remember how it goes, but that guy.
All right.
One is the icon, the main event, and the showstopper. The other can turn a monster truck into a lowrider just by sitting in it.
That's a very insightful comment there. I wonder who posted that.
Michaels. Because fuck Big Show, that's why.
Good explanation, but now that he has tweeted back to us, I might have to disagree with that person.
This next one just says taxes ...
All right, sure.
Because he's going to win the whole thing and the whole process pretty much moot. Thanks, Andy.
Mm-hmm. He's talking about Big Show, clearly. Because Big Show's going to win everything in this tournament.
Not everyone agrees that Shawn Michaels is real, and some of the more open-minded of the scientific community think he may exist somewhere out there, but doubt he has the inclination or technology to visit a WWE ring. But since we are working with that assumption, I think we all have to agree that he is the superior Undertaker opponent. I don't know who that is.
So he's likening Shawn Michaels to the god he worships, apparently. So
I was going to say Sasquatch, but okay.
Or that too, yeah.
And on the side, Sean says, I didn't get my vote in on time, but Shawn Michaels takes the cake on this hands down. Heartbreak all the way. X-Pac!
Big fan of the click, apparently.
So by a margin. And I'm still going to use that word incorrectly, even though it's correct when I say it this way. By a margin of 100%.
Oh.
Shawn Michaels moves on to the next round.
Well, there you go. I mean, I guess people are taking it seriously as opposed to a couple rounds ago.
So Shawn Michaels will face the winner of the matchup for next week, which is, and I'm very excited about this one, Edge versus CM Punk.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm undecided right now.
I think this might be the semifinal match or the quarterfinal match that actually might be Shawn Michaels' hardest challenge in this tournament. So,
yeah. Well, tying it in to get to this past weekend, those are the only two men who have won multiple Money in the Banks. Or I guess Edge didn't win it twice, but he did have the briefcase twice.
That's true.
Because he beat Mr. Kennedy. So
right.
They're the only two-time Money in the Bank briefcase holders.
Right. So,
choose wisely.
Straight Edge Society versus Live Sex Celebration.
Yeah. One guy banged Lita, the other bangs AJ Lee, and also formerly banged Lita. And Beth Phoenix.
Currently bangs Beth Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what? Currently bangs Beth Phoenix?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Edge, you mean?
Yes.
God, I didn't even think of that. So they both banged Lita. They both banged Lita and both banged Beth Phoenix.
Yep.
But CM Punk has also banged AJ. So by a margin of 3-2, CM Punk wins.
All right. So go to the Facebook page and click on that poll and vote for next week. We return to Wednesday next week, so you'll have a full week of voting. But that doesn't.
Sorry, fans. It's a special Tuesday taping because I'm going to the Red Sox game tomorrow.
Yes, it's a special Raccoon Tuesday edition of the Wrestling Show.
Tuesday Night Smackoon.
Yeah. Dear WWE is next.
Oh. Excellent. So, did Sal submit one, or was this somebody else?
This is from our dear friend Bill.
Oh, excellent.
This one's short and sweet, so I like it.
Okay.
Dear WWE, please learn to say future endeavors in Punjabi.
Yeah.
That is all. Love, everyone in their right mind.
They already did for Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. So send your Dear WWE letters to rundownwrestling@gmail.com, and we will read them on the show. I'm very happy it's a slow news week this week. But with that said, let's get to the news this week.
It's a slow news week, but as long as some of the stories are actually noteworthy, then it's a-okay.
There might be a noteworthy one in here.
All right.
First, as we reported last week, Josh Matthews was released from WWE. It is now being
Yeah.
reported that his release was not due to anything he did wrong, but because of the company's recent budget cuts.
But because he is Josh Matthews.
Matthews was said to be at the bottom of the list of announcers, but still his release was a huge surprise to many in WWE.
Ricardo Rodriguez, you're next.
Yeah, basically. So we had Renee Young host the pre-show on Money in the Bank,
She did.
and I also assume due to budget cuts, it turns out that the Raw pre and post shows are now going to take place not from the arena where Raw is, but from the WWE broadcast headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut,
Huh.
and hosted by Byron Saxton. This week with CCH Pounder, Alex Riley, and no special guest. So
Interesting.
budget, yeah.
Speaking of Renee Young, is she any good when she does commentary?
She has her moments,
Yeah.
but she also has her moments of fawning over some of the male talent in NXT, and it gets kind of annoying.
Oh, really? So she's like fangirling out, or is she basically being like, "Ooh, he has some sweet rippling biceps"?
She used to oogle Mason Ryan, as I recall.
Oh no, that's a poor choice. I disagree with that notion. Is Mason Ryan still employed? No, he's not,
No,
right?
he got laid off 2 weeks ago,
Okay, thank God.
or maybe 3 weeks ago at this point. Either way.
All right.
Next.
Washa-sha-sha.
Thank you. There have reportedly been talks about inducting Vicky Guerrero into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, come on now.
She ended her run with WWE after 9 years this past Monday when she was fired by Stephanie McMahon. WWE likely feels they could get more out of her induction and sell more tickets if they do it as quickly as possible.
Who the hell? Who's going to buy a ticket to see Vicky Guerrero get inducted?
I don't think she'd be the headliner.
Yeah. But I thought she basically got legitimate heat because people actually hated her for real. So, like, I would think it would have the opposite effect. I would think people would be like, "Fuck that, Vicky going in the Hall of Fame. Fuck her." It would be like if they said, "We're going to induct X-Pac."
Thing. So I think there's still some goodwill there.
I guess. You got covered in shit.
A pool full of crap.
That's right. You got it covered in a pool full of shit. You disgraced the legacy of your husband.
And of course, there is a 1-hour special on Vicky Guerrero airing this evening.
Oh.
Actually,
right now,
presently. It started 11 minutes ago. So.
Oh shit! Well, let's wrap this up so I can go watch the WWE.
Go back in time and watch that.
Yeah.
You should spend more time watching NXT, is what I'm saying.
Well, as opposed to a Vicky Guerrero countdown, I would agree with you.
Next.
Washashasha.
I didn't want to warn you about this in advance because, again, I wanted an honest reaction on the podcast, but you made me tell you while we were waiting in line to get into Money in the Bank on Sunday.
Oh, yes,
WWE has released Rybaxel's mashup theme on iTunes and have given it a name which may be quite possibly the worst ever.
Mm-hmm.
The name of their theme song, and I swear to God I am not making this up.
And I quote,
Meat on the perfect table.
Yeah. Why not just Perfect Meat? Or is that the name of Val Venus's song? I don't know.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah. That's pretty bad. But did you download it?
Not yet. It's on the list.
Okay. I hope it's at the bottom of the list.
It's all on the list.
Like Josh Matthews.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah. Sad.
Speaking of which, Michael Cole or JBL, if you still have Josh Matthews' phone number, send him a text and tell him that he's welcome to come on the show anytime.
Absolutely. Which, by the way, now that I think of it, Big Show responded to a rundown tweet.
No,
is Big Show a rundown?
He responded to my personal tweet.
Oh, personal tweet. But
I sent it from both
right.
accounts, but he replied to me and not the podcast.
Well, maybe Big Show's a listener too, and he's like, you know what? I'll give him the rub.
But I don't think he voted in the. I don't think he voted in the thing, which makes me sad.
Uh, it actually would have been
Although
pretty
he
funny
may
if he
have
did, and he was
been,
like, "Big Show's a stupid fat fuck."
yeah, although he may have been, because we did have one Twitter click that was a view but not a completed survey. So maybe that
Oh,
was the Big Show.
hmm.
I'm gonna
Hope so.
I'm gonna just assume that from here and keep that in here.
I think so.
That was the Big Show. So
Clearly. Well,
next,
it's the Big Show.
yes.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Uh, Wash off your balls.
According to Purorisu Spirit, WWE Japan has sent out a press release announcing that WWE will be holding a public contract signing during the July 12th live show at the Mishima Arena in Osaka, Japan.
There's a WWE Japan.
Yeah.
Wow, didn't know
It
that.
it had been previously reported that this will be the signing of former pro wrestling Noah star Kenta,
Hmm.
but this is the first official mention from WWE about it. Hulk Hogan is expected to be in attendance as his image
Yeah,
was used in the press release.
interesting. Easily the greatest moment for a Japanese wrestler on WWE television since I choppy choppy your pee pee.
Indeed.
That's right. Hey, they were helping to choppy choppy the pee
That's
pee,
right.
so yeah, that's right. All ties in. Yoshitatsu still has not gotten his moment. He was
Yoshitatsu got
fired, right?
fired.
Yeah, so there you go. So they have no Japanese guys on the roster now, basically, so they have to sign one,
That is
right?
true. That
That's,
is true.
there are no Japanese wrestlers on the
Nope.
roster. Yeah. Big
Next.
talent pool to choose from, so they
Yes.
should. Anyway, Washashasha.
Chris Jericho's return to WWE will be for at least 3 months.
All right, till SummerSlam?
According to PW Insider, creative plans for Jericho run through Night of Champions on September
Oh,
21st in Nashville. Jericho posted messages to Instagram and Twitter on Monday that indicated he was with his family to hide his return on Monday Night Raw, where he
mm-hmm.
does his return promo before being attacked by the Wyatts.
Yeah, because I was saying to you, I don't remember the past couple times, like when Jericho has come back, it's basically been leaked on the internet in advance, and
Right.
I don't remember hearing anything about it in advance of
Right.
this one. So yeah, he covered it up this time.
I really look forward to a Jericho versus Wyatt feud. That should be fucking
Yeah.
money. So
I just think it must have been pretty sweet for that Hartford crowd because it's kind of like, how do you convince Jericho and AJ to come back in fucking Hartford? There's
yeah.
nothing going on in Hartford. That was like the most exciting thing they've ever seen since the Whalers left town. But yeah, good for them. Oh, we
Troy
have a comment on
says,
the side.
I hope it goes like every public WWE contract signing, and we get a run-in and Kenta gets put through a table.
Good point. Very good point. That is, I would say, probably the likely outcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next. And finally this week,
Hey.
Emma, real name Tennille Dashwood,
Mm.
was arrested in Hartford, Connecticut last night.
Oh, Jesus. Was this why Santino made the reference like, Emma didn't even come to my party?
Maybe. And charged with sixth degree larceny.
Wow.
WWE sent out the following
She was actually,
statement saying,
I haven't heard this, but I'm going to go and spoil it. She was at a supermarket just doing like the Emma poking dance, but she was taking objects off the shelf. That's how it was going.
WWE sent out the following statement in regards to the arrest, saying, quote, WWE is aware that Tennille Dashwood was arrested for shoplifting. Ms. Dashwood is ultimately responsible for her personal actions, unquote. According to Current.com, WWE diva Emma appeared in a Hartford community court today and was ordered to do community service. Her lawyer, Hubert Santos, stated that his client's arrest came about by a mistake. He noted that she was using the self-checkout machine at the Hartford Walmart when she bought about $30 worth of items but forgot to pay for a case for an electronic device.
Oh my goodness. That's embarrassing that she was shopping at Walmart.
Right? Exactly.
Goodness gracious.
Jesus. Walmart, fuck. So yeah, she
Emma.
got arrested for apparently mistakenly stealing an iPhone case.
Yep. You mean I can't just put it in my pants and walk out? Oh, my bad. Wait, they do things differently in Australia. Sorry, I'm from Australia. I don't know how these things work. That is so bizarre. Is she going to be the next one to be fired for this? Because I would think that's a pretty likely outcome.
They'll send her back down to NXT, put her under a mask.
Yep. Man, that's interesting.
What's Australian for five-finger discount?
Yeah. Australian for fired. They hadn't even been using her in months anyway. Like, they had the initial thing where she came up and was like Santino's running buddy, and they were friends, but not friends with benefits. And then she just basically disappeared. She had fucking bubbles. She had bubbles, and they wasted all that potential of the bubbles.
And then they went on a number of humorously awkward dates.
Yeah. Pretty good theme song, though. I forget how it goes, but it was a pretty good theme
I
song.
think that was Fandango. That sounded a little bit Fandango-y.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
R.I.P. Emma. Best of luck in your future endeavors when you're fired by the time the next podcast rolls on. Broadcast.
We'll find out next week.
I think so. I'm going to break that scoop right now. Emma has been fired.
That does it for the rundown for this Tuesday, July the 1st.
Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm just thinking of something. I'm breaking the story right now that Emma is fired, so if she does actually get fired, everyone's going to have to give proper attribution to the Rundown podcast and say, well, it was reported it was reported first on the Rundown. Right?
Need those.
As of right now, Tuesday night at 9:20, I am saying Emma has been fired. Give proper attribution. If you find out that she's been fired, the Rundown reported it first.
Yeah.
Just remember that.
This tip comes straight to you from Rundown Psychic News.
Yep. Gary Spivey of the Psychic Companions Network? That's a pretty dated reference. Go ahead and Google that.
Yeah.
Google Gary Spivey of the Psychic Companions Network and Paul Orndorff and just watch the hilarity.
See if that WrestleCrap article is still online or if it's locked in the vault for the time being.
Yeah.
And
Good
then
times.
go buy a giant Brillo pad to tape to the top of your head.
This will all make sense once you Google this. We promise.
Yes. I hope this video on YouTube.
Speaking of WCW, I actually did want to raise this one question. With Cena becoming a 15-time champion now, which is obviously one behind Flair, who was the definitive WCW guy, do you think this is Vince's way? Like, he actually wants to give Cena the new record for title reigns because Flair is so associated with WCW, and he's the all-time belt holder. Do you think Vince wants to be like, put it on Cena because he's been a WWE guy his whole career?
Yeah, probably.
That's what I'm thinking, and that's going to be sad. 15 times. I mean, if he makes it to 16, he's obviously going to make it to 17 because I don't think they're just going to be like, we'll call it a tie.
Yeah. So that does it for the rundown for this Tuesday, July 1st, 2014. 113 days since the Usos won the WWE Tag Team Championship.
Still going strong.
APW returns Saturday, July 12th to the APW Arena at the Newbury Fire Hall in Newbury, Massachusetts. For details, go to AtlanticProWrestling.com. Lucky Pro Wrestling Summer Sizzle in Clinton, Massachusetts. That's a good Massachusetts. On Saturday, August 9th, go to luckyprowrestling.weebly.com. Weebly, Weebly.com. Elk Mania 2 is coming September 27th.
Oh, dear.
Thank you.
No.
Go to elkmania.com and see if they ever updated it from the last show. And Liberty States Wrestling is off till October. Go to libertystateswrestling.com.
Lizardy snakes?
Dig around. Follow us on Twitter. To watch
As the Big Show does?
Tweet Raw. Yeah. To watch me live tweet Raw and maybe SmackDown if I ever actually watch SmackDown on Friday. And also special events.
Why is that? Now that I think of it, Sheamus is doing a United States Championship challenge on the 4th of July, and he himself is not American. So is he going to be the heel in that case? All right, anyway.
At Rundown Podcast on Twitter. Send your feedback, send your Ryback theme song, send your catchphrase suggestions, send your fake sponsors, send your real sponsors, send your Doctor Who Creator Wrestler templates for Pertwee through Hurt. Send your questions for me to answer on YouTube. Send your Dear WWE letters and your request for my Amazon.com wish list because my birthday is on Monday
Yeah.
to rundownwrestling@gmail.com.
You already got the pretty good present of being taken to Money in the Bank, but
And my supper was paid for.
that's true
By
at the
your
Fours in
human
Boston.
Thanks to the Rundown fans who were at the Fours in Boston, by the way, for leaving us alone and letting us enjoy our dinner. It was very delicious.
Yeah, there were a
I know
lot
you
of them
guys were
there.
there.
So.
Oh, yeah. That place was packed, and they were all there
Packed
for
full
us.
of lots of wrestling T-shirts.
Yes.
Including, as I mentioned to you, the most obscure shirt I saw while walking around Boston that night.
This wasn't at the Fours, and I'm
No.
sad that I missed this when you saw this.
Yes, somebody was walking down the street in an Ahmed Johnson T-shirt.
An Ahmed Johnson T-shirt.
A fucking Ahmed Johnson T-shirt.
Ahmed Johnson has a T-shirt?
Yes. I don't know if he made it himself or if it was actually sold by the WWF at one point, but yeah, he was rocking that Ahmed Johnson T-shirt.
Nice.
His friend had a Ravishing Rick Rude shirt on that said "Sup, ladies," which was obviously not WWE endorsed, but it was a good shirt.
Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/rundownwrestling as we make the push for 500.
Yeah.
If you want to make a
then the
donation,
push to 100,000.
yes, because that's the next logical step.
Of course, yeah.
If you want to make a donation of the monetary variety, go to rundown.podomac.com and click on the PayPal donate button on the right-hand side of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Watch our archived episodes.
That's
on
right.
youtube.com/rundownpodcast.
Check Raccoon Reigns out live and in person.
And circle me on Google Plus at
Circle that jerk.
/plus Adam Rundown Host.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get a PDF of a book, a very small book, but a book all the same.
A PDF file?
If you want to get a PDF file of this book of poetry, go to tinyurl.com/distant horizons, $2.50.
Hashtag chafed tits.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Search for us on iTunes under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. If you subscribe, you get the podcast delivered to you absolutely free each and every week for $0.00.
Good deal.
If you cannot afford a donation of the monetary variety, will you stop?
What is going on over there?
My wife is going crazy with some canned air and some napkins.
My wife?
To, I'm assuming, cause distress across the screen? I'm not sure.
Oh, it worked.
Rundown. We're here.
Yes.
Right.
Perfect.
Don't freak out again. I heard you.
Are you talking to me or?
I'm talking to the computer.
Okay. All right.
Search for us on iTunes under the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. If you subscribe, you get the podcast delivered to you absolutely free each and every week. $0.00. If you cannot afford a donation of the monetary variety, go to iTunes and give us a 5-star review. If you leave us a text review, I will read your name and your review on a future program like these fine people. We are also available on Stitcher. That's Stitcher.
Mother bitcher.
At Stitcher.com or the Stitcher app on your iOS or Google device. Still free, but you don't download anything. You stream directly from their servers. You can choose from your favorites of tens of thousands of podcasts, but why would you listen to anyone other than this one?
Certainly you shouldn't. Obviously, we know that JBL and Michael Cole and The Big Show are all listeners.
And
Santino Marella in the past, yep, as well. Confirmed. So, and be on the lookout this Monday when Michael Cole or JBL mentions the word raccoon during Raw.
Yeah. If you want to be nice and up our Stitcher ranking, do what I do. Go into Stitcher, load up the Rundown Wrestling Podcast, turn your volume down to like next to last so you can't actually hear it. Just let that fucker run.
Just let it run.
Just let it run. Listen to the show and do other things. Watch TV, whatever you want to do.
Well, I mean, you could actually listen to the show, which would be helpful as well.
I mean, you're not going to listen to it every day when you do this to bump up our ratings, is what I'm saying.
Listen to it every day. We have a lot of old episodes. This is number 158.
Yeah, but not all the episodes are online anymore.
That's true. How far back did they go?
Not very far because when they updated GarageBand, the files are now really large when they save.
Well, if you want an
So,
old episode, I have almost all of them on my computer, so you can ask on Facebook. Oh, Facebook,
Raccoon
at
Rain.
Raccoon Rain. Well, not at Raccoon Rains, but Raccoon Rains on Facebook if you want to
Yep.
add me
Okay.
on Facebook.
Thanks to Tegan Brown for the logo. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Troy, our new friend Troy. Thanks to
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Morton for finally showing up at 1 a.m. in the morning in England to leave us a
Indeed.
comment at the top of the show.
Yeah. The
He's
Viper
our,
Grundy Morton struck quick and then disappeared, just like
that,
his namesake.
that's why he's our official listener.
That's right.
If you want to be an official listener, buy Andy's chapbook and donate more than $10 to us on PayPal.
Sounds good.
Then we'll have a competition to see who wants to be official listener the most.
And the competition will be Hell in a Cell.
Thanks to Ricardo Guzman,
Indeed.
and thanks to Sean, my boss.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was everyone.
I think so.
Yeah. And thanks to Raccoon Rains.
Of course. Happy to be here. 2 shows in a row.
And thanks to former co-host Sean, wherever he may be now, for giving me a ticket to the Money in the Bank as my birthday present.
I heard he died.
Oh.
Well,
Well, I'm glad that his last dying wish was for me to go to Money in the Bank.
it was. Tragic bear accident.
BEAR or BARE?
Both, actually. He was bare-ass
Oh.
naked, assaulted by a bear.
Was he
On the
barebacking the
street
bear
of
at the
Boston.
time?
Yeah.
Excuse me, bear fucker.
Yeah.
I don't
Quality
think
movie.
anyone's going to get that reference.
They damn well better. That's a solid movie.
All right, next week, CM Punk versus Edge.
On Raw?
Is Emma fired? We'll find out.
I've
And
already broken the scoop.
Jack Swagger talks to us about his new book, How to Ruin Someone's Big Push in 3 Easy Steps.
Yes.
And as always,
And create
remember.
one for yourself, apparently.
Yeah. And as always, remember, Jacob, good night and good luck. Direct to video this fall.
Yeah.
And fun. Ah.
Good. Was there more to that?
No, probably not.
Okay. I thought you were going to say gore, gore.
Good night,
Sorry, that's in
everyone.
the stinger. Stay tuned for that. Good night, folks.
1 hour, 49 minutes.
Oh, goody.
We made it just in
Time
time.
just
We made.
fine.
We're only short of last week's episode by 2 minutes, and there was 3 of us last week and 2 of us this week.
Yeah. And we did trivia last week. But we had a lot to cover. We had a lot to cover with Money in the Bank, so it's okay. Hello to the remaining fans. The podcast listeners will not hear this because the show has officially been cut off for them, but the remaining fans, you can still see us, so hello. I don't know what Adam is doing. I think he's talking to his wife. She should get on camera and show herself.
Yeah. Watch it.
Hey! Oh, there you go.
I can show you in a minute. Ba, 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 da, 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 da.
Mm. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, I'm still recording. I just realized this. I have to stop recording the actual audio from Audacity, don't I?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, hold on.
Save. Now we wait 20 minutes for that to fucking filter out. Yeah, I love it when it does that thing where I talk and then I hear myself like half a second later, because it totally doesn't fuck me up when I'm trying to read things
Of
out
course
loud.
not.
And
This is the Rundown post show, by the way, exclusive to the Rundown app that people are enjoying right now, right?
the Rundown app, yes, where you get a good view of
Oh,
me and couch cushions. Because for some reason, Raccoon Reigns refuses to be shown on camera after the show is over.
no, I'm right here. I'm right here. I just had some stuff to do.
Where are your
Oh, we have
handlers?
some commenters on the side. We
We
actually have some
do.
comments.
Troy says, "Great show, guys. Thank you, Troy.
Ah, thanks,
Welcome
Troy.
aboard. I urge you to invite all your friends, so that we finally get more than six viewers at a time. We did get up to
Yeah,
4
indeed.
tonight, so that was fun.
That was good, and especially on a night where we don't usually record.
Yeah.
Quite
And
impressive.
Sean says, "Believe,"
I do. I will
'Cause
not stop Bo leaving.
because I've been turning him on to Bo Dallas at work.
Why does he
And
keep saying
it's
X-Pac
very-
and Mud?
Because X-Pac is his favorite wrestler, I think.
Okay.
You can explain this in the comments on the side if I get this wrong.
Fair.
Mud is a reference back to an old job. It's a reference to Mud Helmet, which means exactly what you think it does.
Yeah, I know what Mud Helmet means, sadly.
And so Yo Mud was his nickname at a former job.
Because he was engaging in a lot of mud helmet practices?
Where they actually caked his helmet in mud. He had to wear a hard hat for something. And
Okay. All right. You should always put your hard hat on before you go get mud on your helmet.
That's true.
Yeah, you should do that. Yeah.
The post show.
Indeed.
Where we just
All
talk.
you are live on the Rundown app.
Where we just talk and broadcast until we completely run out of steam, or one of us has to leave the room.
I'm getting hungry. I need dinner. It's
Why?
9:30.
Why didn't you do that thing that you've been promising to do for months now?
Oh, that's
Where
right.
you order the Domino's at the top of the show and see how long it takes for it to get to your apartment.
That's actually a really brilliant idea. There'd be a lot of dead air on the podcast when that happened, but it would be worth it, I think.
I could just fill the dead air like I did a couple weeks ago by making fun of you for leaving.
That's right. It'll have to be like an episode where Andy is on, so you guys can cover up. You guys can vamp a little bit like the vaudevillains while I'm gone. But yes, that is a good idea. Listeners who are still left, if you want me to order a pizza during a broadcast the next time I'm on, vote now on your Rundown app.
Sean has validated my story. Says correct and correct, and of course, X-Pac.
Of course, X-Pac Heat.
He says he was playing. He got a copy of WWE 13 because we were talking about it, which is of course the one with Attitude Era mode.
Okay.
And he was talking about how he was very happy when he got to the part where he unlocked X-Pac, because then he felt his game was complete. But Aaron is watching too, his brother Aaron. So, what's up, guys?
I used to like X-Pac. Well, 1, 2, 3 Kid back in the day as well.
Yeah.
Remember the match he had with Bret Hart for the title way back in the day as the 1, 2, 3 Kid, where it looked like he may actually win the title? It was pretty awesome.
I don't remember that at all.
Look that up. Look that up on your WWE network. 1, 2, 3 Kid versus Bret Hart on Raw. It was an early episode of Raw too. I don't know if they have it on the network, but you could find it on YouTube. I'm sure.
First 2 seasons, 93 or 94.
Yeah, it would be on the first.
Because I have that DVD, so I can go watch that.
Oh, it's probably on there. It was a pretty distinct moment.
Well, no, this has entire episodes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Like the first year of Raw or some shit.
Yeah, it should have that.
Raw, the beginning.
If it doesn't have that, they'd miss the boat, because I remember that being a fantastic match. I was probably like 12 or 13 at the time. I was like, oh, the 1, 2, 3 Kid might win the title. Even though I liked Bret Hart, if the 1, 2, 3 Kid had won, I would have been like, oh, man, that shit be crazy.
So it's like when Jeff Hardy had that ladder match against The Undertaker on SmackDown.
That's right, yeah. Same result at the end,
remember
because
that.
I think Bret Hart did actually shake his hand afterwards. They were both faces at the time, unlike the Undertaker-Jeff Hardy thing, but yeah. Another comment. Still going strong.
1, 2, 3 Kid was the shit too.
There you
It's the same person.
Yes.
Open the jar.
Well, we're both from the same town, obviously.
Watch me be a strong husband live on Google Plus.
Okay. Can you actually open this? Let's see.
Except I wasn't on camera at the time, but there you go. That's an open
I
jar of grape jelly
mm,
because I am man.
I
I
have
am
this. I have a jar
always
of
man.
pickles. Can you do this jar of pickles for me? Yeah. Let's just keep making Super Trooper references all night.
Yes. Yes, please.
For $5, I'll call him a chicken fucker. Anyway.
You boys like Mexico?
Yeah. The snozberries taste like snozberries.
You are freaking out,
Yep.
man.
All right,
Littering
let's.
and littering and
All right, let's stop this right now.
littering and smoking the reefer.
Mm-hmm.
Truckee says that the match between X-Pac and Bret Hart was in 1994,
There you go.
so it may not be on that DVD.
Aw. Well, find it on YouTube because it was pretty sweet.
Yes, I'll do that.
It was obviously after 1-2-3 Kid had pulled his famous upset of Razor Ramon.
Yeah,
Also a very
I
cool
do
moment.
remember that happening.
Yeah, I do too. Back when he was just the Kid, I think. Or the Lightning Kid or something like that.
I'm not sure who Troy's talking to here. That DDP yoga is working for you. Oh, he must be talking to me because I got to open a jar of grape jelly.
Oh, yes.
I am a strong man. I am like Simon Gotch in that way, except without the mustache.
Oh, you should grow a mustache, a
I
handlebar
can't
mustache.
grow a mustache.
Aw.
I get the only place where I get noticeable facial hair on my face, especially on my upper lip, is the corners. Here, yeah. So I could do that thing where you grow that long wispy mustache like the Kung Fu masters on the old Kung Fu movies.
Yeah,
but that's
you
it.
should do that.
That's all you
You
get.
should totally do that.
And then I get a creepy neckbeard thing going on.
Oh, nice. So. The neckbeard is a good look. Do the neckbeard with the twirly Kung Fu mustache.
Yeah. Last November, I jokingly asked her if I could do No Shave November, and she said, "Sure, if you want to look like a meth-addicted pedophile homeless person."
Mm.
So there's that.
So your response was, "Okay, I'm doing it."
Totally did it. Not really.
I have started growing a beard. I mean, yes, I Raccoon Reigns have started growing a beard. You can sell it.
You can't grow a beard. You're covered in fur.
Aw, yeah.
Silly raccoon.
Damn it. I tried. Is there another comment on the side here as well?
No, that's just Troy making fun of me for opening a jar of grape jelly.
Oh, it's still the same one that's there before. Okay, all right.
On that note, I think that that's going to do it for the post show.
I think so. Thanks for sticking around, fans.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Yeah, tune in next week. Probably be back to a Wednesday schedule, and Andy will probably be back next week. But yeah, otherwise Adam will be doing the show by himself, I think.
Yay! Because that's what you people want.
Yep.
2 hours of me.
Nothing but Adam, NBA.
Me.
On the table. That is what you are.
I'm so glad they took the lyrics out of the mashup song so I don't have to write those goddamn things anymore. Oh, God.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about the Ryback theme songs. Yeah, alas. Well, I think we ran out of things to rhyme with the word R, so it's okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, see you later, fans. We went to Money in the Bank, and you didn't.
Womp womp.
But it's okay. Oh, and sign on Skype so I can send you my file.
I'm on Skype.
Oh, okay. Then I'll have to sign on Skype.
Yeah. Dick.
Yeah.